like the Simmons pick.
Welcome back to the Here We Go podcast. I am Trent Gang. You all know Colin Phillips. Colin, you've been on a bit of a hiatus, man. Good to have you back here, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. I've been doing a bunch of different stuff, man. It's been a long spring, so.
Yep. And then you all know Zachary Smith. Smitty, how are we doing today?
I'm good. I'm guessing Colin came back on my occasion.
He did. He did, actually.
He had to make sure he was here.
Yeah. So this is like the equivalent of when Tomlin and the boys all skipped the Michigan Pro Day for Aaron Rodgers' visit. You are the Aaron Rodgers visit of this podcast.
Ooh. All right. I get the reference. I get it.
Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about being connected.
I'd take that as a hell of a compliment, my friend.
All right.
So speaking of Aaron Rodgers, no decision has been made. We're still stuck in limbo. I mean, like, where are you guys at on this? He appears to be the last big option in free agency for the Steelers right now. Colin, what are you thinking with Aaron Rodgers?
I'm still a believer. I'm still down. I'm so down for that, man. I mean, you know, I could me and my buddy were talking about this the other day. Like, I could totally see Aaron Rodgers just coming out of nowhere, like making like an Antonio Brown type appearance, like OTAs, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Holy shit, that's Aaron Rodgers!" and he signs or something. But I don't know. I don't know what to think right now. Honestly, I've been a little on a football hiatus in general, so I'm still down for it, but who knows?
So, do you think it's going to happen? Or your gut feeling?
Gut feeling, I do.
Okay. I was just saying that's the thing. Like because Colin's talking from two different perspectives there. Like, I still think he's the best possible option for them that's available. Like, let me preface by saying that.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I think a lot of people bring it like 19th in EPA last year in total, but like the second half of last season, there's some very encouraging moments. Like, I would say there's like legit good tape out there from his second half of last year. And I think he can still play. I guess my question is the marriage with this specific system in this offensive line would be the one concern. But like Aaron Rodgers as a player, I think still could play in 2025. Now, the waiting game part of it is really what's gotten to me, because I mentioned this to Trent right before we started recording. I wouldn't have an issue sitting around waiting if he was deciding between signing with Pittsburgh or retiring, because I get that that's a pretty massive decision for him to have to make. But it's gotten to the point where it's like very clear, at least to me, with all the smoke that's surrounding other teams anytime that like somebody goes down, he's waiting around to see if a better opportunity in his mind arises. And that's where I'm just like, man, if we're like the last resort where it's just like, I don't want to retire, I guess I'll play for the Steelers, that's not necessarily a position that I want to be in, because how committed is he going to be for the Steelers in 2025 if it's just like his last resort to be able to play?
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, right? I mean, like, you want this thing to be done. We're getting so much closer to the draft at this point. Like, we're counting down the days. And if you're sitting there waiting on this guy to be your starting quarterback or not, that almost makes me feel like you, as an organization, you have to set some type of a deadline of, you know, it can be draft day morning, it could be the night before, but you can't go beyond the draft. I know your co-host, Alan, has talked about not, you know, they could be patient and wait until camp because, like, but you'd have to have some form of assurance before you did that, right? Like, can you really wait that long?
There's a lot of people speculating that they have some form of assurance right now, and it's just, we don't know. I mean, like, from the outside looking in, we don't know that exists. Some people continue to pour cold water on that. I feel like if there was, somebody would have leaked that. You know what I mean? Like, they can't keep that close to the vest for this long. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you ask one person in the organization about a timeline, and they'll give you a different answer than the next person that you asked. Like Tomlin said the same thing in terms of Allen just did training camp, and that's maybe why Allen was saying that. Rooney said we'll wait around a little bit longer, but not much longer. And then, you got Khan saying we need to know before the draft. Like, I mean, ask somebody and you'll get a different answer from the next person. So to me, I really thought next Monday before the draft. That way you got pretty much the entire week to figure out, does this affect your draft plans? But to be honest, and maybe this is a separate conversation, I don't want to diverge into something else before you guys give your thoughts. But if you like kind of follow along with just like the tea leaves of the process here for them pre-draft, like if you would have asked me during the Senior Bowl, where they were showing a ton of interest in early round defensive tackles seemingly down at the Senior Bowl, there's something that seemed to have shifted. Like something made them pivot within their pre-draft process here. And is it the quarterback that made them do so?
Colin, you had thoughts there for a second. I saw it.
Well, okay, so I'm going to go back to kind of what I was my general thoughts going into this offseason. Now, we obviously knew that, I feel like we're just beating a dead horse by saying, oh, yeah, we knew this was going to be a big draft. Well, it seems like every draft's had to have been huge the last 3 years. But this draft, importantly, because my biggest thing going into it was I don't want to have to box ourselves into a first-round pick. Feels like a lot of time the end of Colbert's career, and even, Khan kind of got screwed his first couple years because we had, like, myself and Chuck Sikorafor as our starting tackles. So, like, he kind of was boxed into having to pick a tackle, frankly, trade up for one as well. But I didn't want to box ourselves in. I truly do think he's done a nice job. He signed a win now corner and Slay. He made a big DK Metcalf trade that I'm in love with still. That's easily the most excited thing. I think all of us are thinking that's the most excited we are. The player we're most excited to see, right? That should be common knowledge at this point. But I didn't want to box ourselves in. And yeah, to Zach's point, dude, I was all in. I was like, oh, it's so 1,000,000,000% going to be an interior defensive lineman. And they're stupid enough. They didn't even bring Kenneth Grant on a visit for a top 30 visit. Did they even bring Derek Harmon?
Derek Harmon, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
he did.
Walter Nolan, no.
Walter Nolan wasn't. Yeah, that's
Nolan, Kenneth Grant. I think they just brought Darius Alexander in. And he's like a 25-year-old from Kenny Pickett University anyway. It's like, okay. Like, yeah, nice. You brought the kid in from the MAC, okay. But I'm truly baffled as to why they didn't bring in Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan. Tyleik Williams I would have even been okay with, right? Because he's a true nose tackle, great run stuffer. Because it's pretty obvious we all know what this defensive line needs. We need genuine size, a true zero tech, and run stuffing ability. That's what killed us at the end of the last year. But I agree with Zachary 100%. It's one of those things where we didn't want to box ourselves in, but right now we have no idea what they're going to do because they didn't bring anybody in that we thought they would. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the Devontae Adams trade is when you started to really see Aaron turn the season around last year. And we don't have exactly Devontae Adams, but we have two young studs now at wide receiver. Like, do you think Aaron can make Muth? Of course, yeah. You can go down the list that we have weapons. Even looking at the strides that I think Calvin Austin made last year, Roman Wilson, like, what is he going to be? We have no clue. But like, if he steps in and it ends up being a third round type player, you have a real nice core of guys for Aaron to throw to. Like, I feel like he could be really effective. And honestly, I know you mentioned like the offensive line being a potential issue. I actually think that's where the argument for Aaron Rodgers comes into play because he gets the ball out quick. He's done that pretty much throughout his career. So I think that actually goes in his favor. Like, where would you say, his impact on this team could be not necessarily just in wins and losses, but as far as like driving the football downfield and just getting to where he's keeping both of these receivers happy on the outside?
Yeah, I think the one thing that is interesting about it, though, is like you look at the receivers that are there, and I think that there's a chance maybe we do see Pickens play like some big slot. But I think that, like, if you're looking at the room as a totality, you're still missing like that traditional Aaron Rodgers winner, like the type of receiver that he's used to having, like the quick winner type that's playing primarily in the slot, but can also help out on the outside. Because like if you look at the room right now, Pickens or Metcalf miss a game. like Ben Skoranek is right now the primary backup on the, and I love Ben Skoranek for what he does on special teams and stuff like that. But like they still need another guy that's going to play on the outside, depending on, regardless of where they invest in that in the draft. But yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. The marriage to me with Arthur Smith's going to be the big thing. Like, don't run a ton of similar stuff. And Aaron likes to go 5 wide. And you mentioned how quick he likes to get the ball out. And, the whole thing that broke down at the end of the year in terms of the relationship with Russell Wilson, I could tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers is going to be okay with having some things stripped away from him in terms of what he can do at the line of scrimmage. So I think that's a big question mark for me. Should this thing come to fruition with Aaron Rodgers coming to Pittsburgh? But I'll be honest, and I'm not saying this, you guys obviously know that I'm biased, but the numbers that Pat was able to put up last year with a quarterback that does not target the middle of the field, I think that we're easily talking about a potential career year for 88 if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. I think he's the big winner.
Oh, and it's easily easily the best tight end Aaron Rodgers ever played with. I mean, the only comparable one would be probably Jermichael Finley, maybe. And I mean, Pat clears him by a mile too. So, I mean, other than Jermichael Finley and Richard Rodgers, I think it's Pat, obviously, right?
Yeah. The only case where you might want Richard Rodgers instead is if you're throwing a Hail Mary.
Sure, if that, I think I'd still like.
Well, I always say that because I think he caught 2 in his career from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think I'm still taking probably Pat, but yeah, I mean it's not even close. The one question I obviously do have, and I think everybody's thinking it as well. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers is, he did the one thing Aaron Rodgers always kind of had is the ability to throw to his running back. I mean, Breece Hall in New York. Ryan Grant is a name that I always liked in Green Bay.
Wow.
Amon Green, I think, in the beginning of his career in Green Bay. Guys like Aaron Jones, obviously great pass catcher. Now, we had that with 22, but shit hit the fan with that, whatever. I'm curious. I think Aaron Rodgers signing with us before the draft is going to give us a really good idea of who a running back of choice might be. That might take us from a Caleb Johnson to a Trey Henderson. Or like a Bashal Tootin to a Jarquez Hunter, like a more receiving back type guy, as opposed to just a ground and pound like a Caleb Johnson, a Marion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins. God forbid if Genty falls, that kind of player. I think that would be something that's also interesting is, whether or not he signs before the draft. If he does, I think it might switch the type of running backs the Steelers are looking for. And if I'm not mistaken, they brought in 6 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Maybe 7. I have the screenshot here. Hold on, I can bring it up.
Well, I mean, we do have Kenneth Gainwell now, which he is obviously a big receiving back too. So I mean, it's intriguing it's an intriguing thought, Colin. Honestly, I never really thought about that. So you brought that up.
Yeah, it was 9. Yes. So Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Tootin, Ollie Gordon. Good Lord, what are you doing? Marion Hampton, Giddens, Jaden Blue, RJ Harvey, and Trey Henderson.
I mean, if you're looking for the complete inverse of what's in the room right now, you would pick Ollie Gordon, but I don't have any interest in doing that.
I think that was a waste of a visit. They could have had. I mean, name them: Nolan, Grant, Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. I don't understand the inclusion still of Cordell Patterson on the roster. Maybe by the time that we get to the first game, that won't be the case. But I really think Gainwell's big thing is going to be replacing him on kickoffs.
Yeah.
I think the special teams value that he's going to add. But sure, he could be a third down back too. In terms of fitting a running back specifically for Aaron, it's an interesting thought. Not necessarily something that I thought about, but even if you're going further down, say they don't invest early, what about a guy like Devin Neal out of Kansas?
Good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Fits the scheme. He's been kind of a guy tied to us for pretty early on. I mean, a lot of the Pittsburgh people have been tying him to the Steelers for quite a while. I think he was maybe outside of the top guys. I think he might have been the first later round back. Between he and Tootin, I know you and Nick Faribal's talked a good bit about Tootin for quite a while.
Tootin's my guy. If I was saying guys that fit what Arthur Smith wants to do out of this class and making a short
Jarquez
list
Hunter,
just based off that, Tootin's on that. Jarquez Hunter is on that for sure. Jaden Blue out of Texas. But what's interesting about especially those guys, especially Tootin and Blue, is the fumble issues. Like people talk about Jalen Warren, and he fumbles like 1 out of every 110 touches or something like that. 1 every 30 for Jaden Blue at Texas fumbles. So
and frankly, and what sucks even worse with that statistic is the fact that he only had like 140 carries total.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not talking. He had a lot.
Not fumbles lost, but like there's a lot of luck that's built within that too. So like I think it's more important just to look at the fact he was putting the ball on the ground.
And we all know the Steelers don't. When the ball's on the ground, the Steelers aren't getting it. We know that. I mean,
at the end of last year, that was just ridiculous.
We've seen it. If the ball's on the ground, Pittsburgh is not coming up with it.
They need to run drills. They need to run the same drill that Houston basketball does, where they just like roll a football out and have everybody try to dive on a pile for a football.
Out of the T30s, Giddens, Johnson, Hampton. I don't know the infatuation with RJ Harvey. I'm sorry. I don't see it. If you're going to get a 5'8" running back, take Bashal Tootin, take Jarquez Hunter. Let's see who else is on here that's 5'8"-ish.
Well, before we dive into some of the draft stuff again, let's circle back to another big contract that we're still waiting on. What about TJ Watt? Where are we at with TJ Watt? First of all, I got to ask this question because I think it's absolutely ridiculous, but apparently there's a lot of people who don't. Are we trading TJ Watt?
What's this mean?
That's what TJ posted. Deuces.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like,
no, they're not trading TJ Watt. Regardless of if the fans would want them to, that's not going to be a thing. It's fan fiction. It's people playing Madden. It's people assuming that every single first round pick is going to turn into TJ Watt. And you're just getting him at a younger age with the people that want to do that. Listen, I'm the type of person that is always intrigued by what the value would be, right? So it's like, I would be interested in taking calls just to see what teams would offer. There is a 0% chance that a team would offer what I would need to get back in order to make that trade.
2 firsts. You don't think anybody would offer 2 firsts?
No, I don't think so.
I said,
come on.
I said first and third early on, and I'm not even sure that. I think I'm a little high on that even.
Oh, I think 6 teams give you 2 firsts. I mean, I think
at 31, and you have to pay him.
It only takes 1. That's the thing. So I
think this current conjecture, other than George Karlaftis, I think I'm starting at edge for the Chiefs. You don't think they'd offer 2 firsts for TJ, considering they have their quarterback, their receiver core set, their offensive line is good enough for Mahomes. They have the second best coach in the league, easily the best defensive coordinator, maybe even of the generation. Would you hate it? I mean, obviously we would hate if it was Kansas City, but I truly do think that there's probably 5 or 6 teams that would probably offer something fair. A first and a second, 2 firsts even. I mean, a first, a third, and a player. I don't think it's crazy. I know he's 31 and you got to pay him and his production declined at the end of the year. But
I think that's the big thing for me is like because I do think that there's reasonable like skepticism in terms of him going forward because of the injuries that have happened now 3 straight
Well, he's
years.
guaranteed to miss a couple games a year, and that's what sucks.
22 partial torn pec, 23 ends up getting hurt at the end of the year, misses the playoff game, and then last year was a ghost after the Philly game because of an injury. So I think it's fair to question what he's going to be going forward and what he's been at the end of the year. Like, is his style of play, is it something that just wears as the season goes on, and this is the version that we're going to see every year towards the end of the year of him? I don't know. I'm just asking that question, presenting it. And I'm not trying to say this to like put him down as a player or anything like that or diminish value. I'm just wondering if those are the types of conversations that are being had. Just from asking around to people, I've been told a second and a third is what would be offered if they were to put him out there.
I wouldn't do it.
Right. I mean, that's not even something that like I'm considering.
No.
I think that fans are coming up with this idea thinking everybody loves draft picks because of what you could potentially turn those into. With the likely outcome of what those are, it's not worth what TJ Watt is.
Well, and especially with this draft class. I mean, is the 125th player any better than the 40th player? Maybe not.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean,
my
really,
rankings My rank, there's very few actual first round players. I would absolutely love to have like no first round picks, but have like 5 on day 2. Like, that's this type of class.
I did my list. I have 18 first round worthy picks. Now I did it comparable to, the last few years, obviously. I think I went from like 2020 on, but I have 18 first round picks, like guys that I would genuinely take in the first round. Now that's obviously, wishy-washy because we don't really know how to predict these guys' success in the league. Now we could be sitting here a year from today and be like, wow, can't believe 70 really good players are in this class. Right. And I was actually kind of going to get to what what this guy's saying here. Do you ever think that maybe TJ's lack of production as the season goes on is due to lack of defensive line depth and or schematics blitzing? Because I think that, you look at the defensive lines that he's had to play with. Obviously, you have Cam Hayward, who's arguably a first ballot Hall of Famer. Keanu Benton, huge fan of Keanu Benton. I led his FC for a whole year and a half. But let's be fully transparent with ourselves here. He really hasn't produced all that much. It's, he really hasn't. Now, he's a great
The team loves him, by the way. I think
is great. Which is great, but he has like 3 sacks in 2 seasons. So what do you say to that? Like, and then you had Larry Ogunjobi. I mean, that was a terrible thing. I mean, I blame a little bit of TJ's lack of success at the end of the seasons due to the lack of depth on the defensive line, the lack of talent on the defensive line, and the blitzing schematics. I think that is one of my biggest reasons why. And if you trade him to a team with actual depth on the defensive line and a really good defensive coordinator, you could see an 18-sack perennial player, or perennial 18-sack player.
So I made this argument. So I was on a different podcast. I made this argument. If it's pretty assured that regardless of what happens with Aaron Rodgers this year, next year we're drafting a rookie quarterback, and he's probably going to be the guy that we're going to look to kind of give the keys to the kingdom to. I think that's been set up by the way we've done the comp picks and everything else. So you're probably going to have a guy on a rookie contract. If you paid TJ Watt for 3 years at $40 million, even if you fully guaranteed the whole thing, which there's no way they're going to do, is it the worst case scenario if he falls off after 2 years and have one wasted season with him? Like, you're not tying so much of your money up into the quarterback room. Like, I don't see the need to want to trade him. And he's such an impact player. I mean, we talked about how bad of a year he had last year. I mean, so many people brought that up, but the dude was still 1 in forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. Still
the best run defender out of all the edges in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, I think so much of it got overlooked because of the 11 sacks.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. And I saw somebody talk about the alignment of him as well, moving around a little bit. That is not something that I would put on the coaching staff. He was vehemently against doing so in the past. But it seems like he's more open to it now, and I think he needs to be more open to it. And we'll see what that looks like this year. Is that the way to, unlock more production as the season goes on, or really just more consistency throughout the course of the season? Really like what you guys said in terms of the run defense, though, too. I think that kind of flies under the radar for edge rushers in general. Everybody just wants to look at the sack numbers. I mean, look at the way Trey Hendrickson should not be talked about in the same light as these top group of guys.
Not even close. Not even close. A great point. Awesome point.
Because of just the sack production he gets talked about in that light. And there's obviously a ton of value in guys that can just get after the quarterback, pin their ears back and do that. But obviously, to me, different tier of player. But yeah, I'm curious to see what that looks like this year. But yeah, is that tied to the health though too? Because I mean, again, to me, the biggest question is the health diminishing at the end of the year, the last 3 years.
And what have we done schematically to help him out? Are we sending any exotic blitzes on the other side of the field to make TJ Watt? I'm sorry, but if you know they're double teaming this guy and chipping him half the time, then they're allocating way too many guys to just TJ Watt. Send some blitzes off of the other edge. Don't just make it a 4-man rush. We got Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen, who are really very good blitzing linebackers that we barely use. Yes, I feel like there was other ways you could still have sent 4 guys and overloaded the side opposite of TJ and made the offense decide what they're going to do.
I mean, Landon Roberts was a fucking like lightning in a bottle. I don't even know if that's the word to use. Like a loaded gun. He was literally a loaded gun. Like that guy can make any tackle in the world. I'm just baffled as to why. 3 things in life I'm baffled about. We'll get into that later.
That's my Aaron Rodgers autograph jersey right there.
Good. Tell him I'm missing.
Yeah, that
was
well.
that was a tough one.
I agree with this guy. Like we have Adam Vincic. I'm going to throw you out there, buddy. I'm pretty sure you were the guy blitzing in the slot in the playoffs, or it was Cam Sutton. One of the 2 guys, either Adam Vincic or Cameron Sutton, blitzing in the slot from the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't care rats, hoot and Heine, who it was. They both stunk. You have the best blitzing linebacker in the NFL in Patrick Queen. You don't blitz him ever, like ever. Yep. You have Peyton Wilson who runs like a 4.15 40. Never blitz him. You have the best tackling safety I've ever seen in my life at number 39 right there. You know,
I actually thought you meant Deshaun Elliott. When you were saying that.
They're both
legit.
Great.
I mean, lowest missed tackle percentage last year since it started being tracked by Next Gen Stats.
I mean, they're both absolute demons. They're both literal demons in the run game.
This is where, to me, the biggest thing, like Brian Flores leaving was always going to happen. Like that was not the big mistake. The big mistake was not replacing that role because they had a senior defense. What I'm saying is like they had a senior defensive assistant on staff that had the front 7 experience to go with, TA comes from the secondary background, as does Mike T. They don't have that guy with the front 7 experience that like was dialing. Like Brian Flores was a big reason why those looks were a bit more exotic the one season that he was here. And I think that not having that guy on staff to kind of blend what TA brings on the back end with what they need up front has been maybe their biggest misstep in this whole thing in terms of the defense, at least. And that just goes back to the size of the coaching staff, which we could have an entire podcast talking about. But
sure.
Yeah.
So my question for you then, Zachary, would be, when you say Tara Lawson on the back end, are you saying? Oh no, I agree with this guy. Actually, yes, it's more of a Tomlin thing more than anybody. God knows why he has a job, but the thing is with Tara Lawson, do you think what he's doing on the back end is working? I mean, Joey Porter has not developed. Minka Fitzpatrick has not had a single good year since 22. Deshaun Elliott, that was, in my opinion, kind of a luckier thing. Like Omar Khan knew what the hell he was doing. Tara Lawson didn't know what to do with him anyway. Do you think what he's doing on the back end is effective? I would say no. But you mentioned, we needed another guy to kind of balance what he was doing on the back end with somebody to balance it on the front end or with the linebacking group. I don't know. I personally don't even think it's working whatever he's doing on the back end. So.
Well, I think the biggest thing, honestly, like I think if last year would have got, and obviously you can't just take away 5 games, but they finished as the 6th overall defense last year, and that's with the last 5 games going the way they did. And to me, the biggest reason that happened watching those games was very clearly a communication thing. Like, guys were singling out guys. You watch the tape, guys are throwing their hands up in the air, not knowing what another guy is doing and everything like that. And that has to fall on somebody. And I honestly think that that's why there was a bit of a change in terms of the secondary, not obviously Terrell Austin, but with Gerald Alexander coming back over from the Raiders. I think that is the biggest reason why they were just willing to make that change. Somebody had to answer for that, and that's who it was. But, I mean, I hear what you're saying in terms of the growth. Like, this is a huge year for Joey Porter Jr. Like, if he takes a step back or doesn't have linear growth, I think that's going to be a big thing. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't know who else besides Joey is like, because all those other guys were already like veterans. Deshaun Elliott, veteran when he came in. Minka Fitzpatrick, veteran when he came in. Dante Jackson last year, obviously, veteran when he came in. Got pretty good return on investment from an undrafted free agent in Beanie Bishop, I would say.
Which I don't know why he's not guaranteed the starting job this year, by the way. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
he's beyond good enough.
I would like to see them make more of an slot corner. That's a starting job. Like teams play a receiver in the slot. What? How many teams play less than 50% now? A receiver in the slot. I think the biggest thing for me is I would absolutely trust him in terms of like rundowns, but like in coverage, do you think he could stack up if teams are going to play? I just mentioned moving a guy like George Pickens into the slot from time to time, or like a lot of teams will flex out their tight end. Can Beanie Bishop take on that role? Like, that's my question.
Well, I agree with the question, but Cameron Sutton sure as fuck couldn't.
No. Well, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, no. I agree. It should have been Beanie Bishop playing last year over Cam Sutton. I'm just saying, at some point, I would like for them to invest more in the position than they have since Mike Hilton left.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought Beanie Bishop was better in coverage than he was in run defense in a lot of different times when he's on the field. I mean, he was around the ball a lot. He wasn't on the field a lot.
If you're having Beanie Bishop guard CeeDee Lamb, what are you doing anyway? I mean, what the hell is Tomlin doing? What is he doing? And like I think it was Vincic or the other guy said, it's a Tomlin thing through and through. We can scapegoat Terrell Austin all we want.
Well, to be honest, it's a Steelers thing.
True.
So. I mean, they've been playing the same defense before Tomlin was here. Like,
and Stick LeBeau, sure, but
so, yeah. So insert any head coach. I'm not sure the defense is going to change.
Yeah. And I honestly kind of wonder, like, if they're not switching or investing, I guess, more in the slot corner position because they like this 3 safety look. And maybe they've kind of not invested because they want to run more of that 3 safety look.
Show and look at some early round safeties.
No.
Yeah, so let's switch some talk to the draft talk. Let's talk about some draft talk here. So I wanted to kind of get your opinions on who are some like top 5 or just maybe some top options that you guys have at pick 21 right now. So let's assume they're not going to trade out of that position, because honestly, I'm having a hard time seeing who they would even trade out of that position with, as much as I'd like them to move back. Smitty, you're the guest. Who you got? Who are some options that you think are the realistic, or even maybe guys you just want to see?
Okay, so to me, that's 2 different questions. Because,
whichever way you want to take it.
Okay, like not a ton of interest shown in Emeka Egbuka, but would love him to be on the short list for my pick at 21. I would still say, would you say 5? 5 guys?
Yeah.
Kenneth Grant. Like, see, 21, maybe a little bit rich, but like, I'll throw Derek Harmon in there. I would like to, like, Walter Nolan should be in that same bucket. They ain't drafted him. I can tell you right now. They were very put off by the way that Walter Nolan went about this pre-draft process. They're not taking him. That's why he did not come in for a pre-draft visit. Matthew Golden is the guy that checks all the boxes in terms of the pre-draft interest. And I love him. So Matthew Golden would be 4 for me. And I'll do it. I'll be the guy. If he falls, I'd have no problem with taking him. I'll throw Shedeur Sanders as my favorite.
All right. We're going to probably circle back to that. Go ahead, Colin. Let's get your 5.
I wanted to start off by saying how much I appreciate Zachary for not putting a damn running back in there. That's a ball nowhere move.
Ashton Genty, does he fall?
God, I hope not. I would never. Oh my God. And I'm going to completely credit this to John Middlenoff here. Do you guys know who John Middlenoff is? Runs 3 and out with Colin Cowherd. Oh, he is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And he was like, if you're looking at a 5'8" running back from Boise State as a top 5 player in a given draft class, you're looking at the shittiest draft class of all time. But anyway, disregard that. But I would go my top 5. I mean, Kenneth Grant would be my dream pick. I'm shocked that nobody's really said it. And I'm honestly more, I don't know if the word would be shocked or if I want to just say that they're a bunch of fucking idiots for not bringing in Will Johnson, who could very easily fall. So clowns didn't bring him in. They brought in Justin Wally and Colin Phillips for their top 30 visits at corner. I would put I wouldn't put, I think Harmon's a little too rich too. I would put Matthew Golden. I mean, that dude is just awesome. The amount of edits I've seen on TikTok of that guy, I'm all in. Just for
they all probably came from like a 4-game span too. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I like Matthew Golden, but there's a lot of
there's like 11 Arizona State clips.
Yeah, could be the best receiver this class, or that 4-game sample size was a flash in the pan, and he's not going to be very good. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm betting on that 4-game.
Oh yeah, I see Stephon Diggs through and through with him, and I would kill for Stephon Diggs. And then, so I'm at 3. Number 4, I'm gonna go Shador Sanders if he falls. I just think that'd be just a very good pick. And then number 5 is going to be someone that you guys probably won't agree with, but I'm going to go Kelvin Banks Jr. Do I think I think the fan base in general, which they normally are, they're very naive to just write off offensive line. I would have no problem taking a guy like Tyler Booker or Kelvin Banks, or God forbid if he falls, Will Campbell, for the simple fact that we don't even know if either of our tackles are any good. Isaac Seumalo is a sneeze. I'm talking a cough away from retirement. We have no idea if Mason McCormick's any good. The only lineman that we know is any good is Zach Frazier, who's our center, the easiest position to find. We don't know how good these offensive tackles are. Broderick Jones is on a path to being a CFL player next year. Troy Fautanu's one more knee injury away from a nursing home. Are we wrong? I mean, we knew this going in that Broderick Jones was raw. Great, we didn't develop him. We knew going in that Fautanu had injury concerns. Gets hurt again. Go figure, right? I mean, what's wrong with taking another tackle? Worst comes to worst, you move Fautanu back into guard, which he should be playing anyway. Kelvin Banks could easily play offensive guard. He'd be a tall one, but who cares? He doesn't really have the anchor to play tackle, I don't think, but that can be worked on. I think that the whole fan base, and it's extremely frustrating from my point of view because I'm a big build the trenches first guy. I think it's extremely frustrating how naive that most people are about the Steelers taking a tackle, and I think the Steelers are very naive as well to not consider taking an offensive lineman. We have one offensive lineman on this top 30 visit list, guys. One. We don't know if 4 of these guys are any good, and we're not even considering taking one, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've been on this train for a while, actually. You've kind of like talked about this for a long time, so.
And that's fine. Milam at 83, I'm totally cool with that. But the fact that we don't have a single offensive lineman on this top 30 visit it's infuriating. Like, really, we have 9 running backs. 9 running backs. We have 9 defensive linemen, and not one of them are named Kenneth Grant. Not one of them are named Walter Nolan. Not one of them is named Tyleek Williams. It's Colin Phillips, Trent Ging, Zachary Smith, and Derek Bell. Like,
I love that DB gets a shout
Derek
out.
Harmon.
And Derek Harmon, sure,
Harmon.
yeah, a guy who's literally Keanu Benton. By the way, if anyone hasn't noticed, he's got the same size, the same RAS, the same athleticism, and the same play style as Keanu Benton. So who the hell's gonna play where anyway? I love getting into this draft shit because Trent knows how pissed off I get, dude.
I love every second of it.
I wanted them to invest somewhat in the offensive line and free agency. Like,
they won't do that. You know better. You know they won't.
I wanted a guard / tackle. Like, I'm not saying it had to be this specific player, but like a Patrick McCarry type who could play guard or give you obviously that insurance if Broderick doesn't pan out on the one side or if Tanu doesn't come back from the knee injury or whatever it might be. But without them doing that, I mean, I think you can make the case for offensive line. And I think you made a hell of a case right there for them to do so. I'm just, it's hard for me to put much credence into it with them not doing so.
Oh, for sure.
No,
yeah.
And
no pushing Mekhi Becton or like Jedrick Wills, even just to kind of push Broderick a little bit. Like a guy who was highly drafted in his own right, just didn't quite pan out in Cleveland. Like I don't know. I mean,
and bear in mind, this is like you're projecting not only like all these guys to get better, but Broderick to do it while switching sides
again.
Yeah.
Again, like,
which I don't think should happen, by the way.
I'm not pissed at you. Oh my God, we're gonna get into that because I agree. I'm not pissed at you guys. I'm just airing out my thoughts because I'm here. Like, I looked at this top 30 list that Tommy Jaggy posted. I wanted to call Tomlin myself and say some nasty shit. Where are your offensive linemen? Where? Like truly, we don't. I mean, Broderick Jones. We've seen what 19? No, probably more now. Probably 22 games at right tackle, and 20 of them have been god awful. Fautanu played like 11 snaps last year. So we have no idea who the hell our tackles are. Mason McCormick got like significantly worse towards the end of the year. And Isaac Seumalo's like 32, but he plays like he's 48. And nobody mentioned when you guys were talking about the Makaris, the Jedrick Wills, the Mekhi Bectons. Why the fuck didn't we re-sign James Daniels? He's 27. I get it. There's an Achilles injury. Come on, who cares? Like, that Achilles injury lowered his price by probably 10%. Any takers on that? I mean, they were, big faith in Mason McCormick, I'm sure. Broken hand and his run blocking grade was a 27.4 all season. Sure.
I love fired up Colin. All right, I'm going to give my top 5 here real quick before we go off the rails.
Oh, yeah, that's to happen,
so I still haven't done my top 5 at 21.
Don't say Eamon Morey, bro. I'm out of here if you say Nicky.
Hold on. Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan. I know it's not looking good, but I think he's got the potential to be a really good player. Emeka Ibuka. I'm just like high floor, high enough ceiling for me. Will Johnson. And I'm going to save the best for last, just for Colin Phillips. Nick Eamon-Worry. Listen, I know it's not like an immediate need, but I mean, next year, we don't know what's going to happen with either safety. He could take the Deshaun Elliott role. You could still keep Minka. I mean, you could keep Minka Fitzpatrick. He could take the Deshaun Elliott role if you're not going to re-sign Deshaun Elliott. You could run the 3 safety look with him. He could be kind of the guy who moves around. He moves around a ton at South Carolina. Ultra athletic guy. I don't think it's crazy. I don't know.
Is it Zachary's turn or my turn?
Get for it. You're like chomping at the bit right now.
Yeah, this was the name that we were waiting to see if it got dropped, and it got dropped. So I don't know how I could steal the spotlight.
Yeah, I'm so sure, dude. Are you kidding me? Like the dude. I think my sister has tackled harder than this guy did in college. He's an ankle biter. He's a 6'4" ankle biter, man.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've subscribed to Caddy's Cut-Ups. By the way, Caddy's Cut-Ups, wonderful clips on his draft stuff. I'm sure Zachary knows. Yeah, wonderful stuff. The dude is an ankle biter at 6'4", 230 pounds. All passed. Thanks. Are we going to talk about the fact that his pad level's at my ceiling? I mean, come on. I'm so sorry, but we're talking like a freak athlete. We're talking Terrell Edmonds. Super high RAS, tested super well. Maybe didn't go to an SEC school, but I mean, like I respect it because listen, his ceiling is like we're talking like Derwin James type ceiling. We're talking a freak. But I think if you're going to go safety, you're better off taking a guy like Malachi Starks, who's my comp would be like a Jesse Bates. If we hate Minka so bad, give us Jesse Bates. We'll see if it's any better. Not we as in like the rest of the fan base, the casuals of the fan base who still hate Minka because, he didn't get 11 interceptions last year. He sucks. Sorry. I mean, it's and the one thing I did want to say, I'm done talking about Eamon-Worry because if that's the option, I'm throwing these away. Like, is anybody else, just out of curiosity, I'm still on the top 30 visits thing because I was infuriated with it. Is anybody else worried about the fact that we have 7 wide receivers and corners combined? Anyone else? Awesome. Finally, smart move by the organization. I love Trey Amos. I think he brings everything you'd want.
He's a stud. Yeah.
I don't know who the hell Justin Wally is. Azaria Thomas, are you kidding me? He ran a 4.75 and he's a press man corner. The last time I saw that was Brandon Browner, and his prime was 1.5 years long. His career in total was 7 years long. I mean, what are we doing? And then the receivers, we got Cordarrelle Patterson, Savion Williams, Jaden Higgins. Have you guys seen his reception perception chart? I think mine was better in high school. Matthew Golden, beautiful human. Jalen Knoll, Roman Wilson, Jalen Knoll, Roman Wilson. I'm just, is anybody else at all worried about that by any means? Yeah, I'm so sure, Sombra, I'm sure. Best safety in the NFL gets paid a lot of money. Nice. But I mean, seriously, like, I genuinely wonder, like, is anybody else concerned about that at all? Like, we have 18 running backs and offensive linemen and seven receivers and corners.
I will just based off some conversation, I'm willing to eat crow on this. I think that they used some pre-draft visits as smoke screens. I think they had enough information from going to places and seeing people live that maybe that first round pick didn't come for a pre-draft visit this year.
So Kenneth Grant's a Steeler. Thanks, Zachary. I appreciate it.
hey, I'm just saying. There's something that I got to say when we get off air. That's all I'll say about a text that I got.
Now, why wasn't Benjamin Morrison on any of these, by the way? Does anybody understand what that is?
I was going to bring him up.
Notre Dame, since we talked about it, and we
Yeah.
just talked about safeties, Xavier Watts, I would take at safety before Emmanuel Warren.
I do like him.
I don't hate that. Now, I'm a Minka truther. That's my king. But
Well, that's the thing is Watts would
first round
certainly
next
be-
year, give me Caleb Downs tomorrow. Give me
yeah.
Caleb Downs yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys are the Buckeyes. I hate the Buckeyes, but Caleb Downs, give me him yesterday, bro. That jersey's up there the second. Like, it's replacing Minka. I mean, I'm being serious, dude. Like, I just, it's
I
like,
appreciate the loyalty. It's
sure,
funny,
yeah.
actually, I got Minka over there right above my microphone.
Oh, look how beautiful it looks. I mean, it's just four quarterbacks, four receivers, no offensive linemen, 3 corners, 2 safeties, 9 defensive linemen, all who shouldn't even be drafted. Like, I'm a draft enthusiast, Trent. I mean, I chart this shit. I don't know who the hell Jared Harrison Hunt is.
Is that the other SMU? That's the other SMU guy, right?
Yeah. Who the hell's Elijah Roberts?
I like Elijah Roberts.
Who the hell's Yaya Black?
Yeah, he's
That's
Hey,
the Iowa special.
Jamari Cardwell, he will be a demon. He will be a demon.
Yeah.
I know that's a Derek Bell. That's a
a
Derek Bell, Zachary Smith type shit, but I'm on your guys' hype train with that. Savion or Cordell
Hold
Patterson.
on. This was going to stop the show. Hang on.
Oh, this guy again, dude.
Oh, Dave's coming to fuck up the podcast. It just, I love it. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
This guy again, man. I mean, what? Come on, what are we doing?
That's funny. He was the one who was the big Jackson Dart fan on the guy on this podcast. I love it. I love
Is
it.
David? Is it David?
Dave, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ,
Dave.
dude. I'm a big fan of the pod, man, but you got to get that Jackson Dart shit out of your head, brother. I mean, we're talking Kenny Pickett, man. We're talking Kenny
the
Pickett.
Collinsworth sliding.
We're talking Kenny Pickett, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, Jamarcus Russell, all in one with Jackson Dart.
Trent and I were just talking about this. The craziest thing is like, for however he feels about Jackson Dart, like that's something that like national people have also gotten on board with. But he had Tyler Shuck as his QB too. Why wasn't he talking about that more as like his take that was more out there than Jackson Dart? Tyler Shuck at QB.
Dave
Sanctuary commented that. Dave.
Yeah.
Tyler Shuck QB2?
Yeah.
Over Shador?
Yes, Shador at 5.
Shador at 5.
Where the fuck is Cam Ward?
1.
He's at 1. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? So
Yeah, he's
what
QB8. Cam Ward.
Is this 4 Milrow?
His number 1's Max Brosmer. No, I'm kidding.
Good kid.
I actually like Max Brosmer, but he's literally a statue.
I do too.
Like,
I liked him.
I don't even know where we were at this point. Thanks, Dave.
What do we think about Shador? Seriously, like, so you guys have talked about Shador being a possibility in the first round. I mean, what do you think his ceiling is?
Dak Prescott. No. Let me rephrase. Dak Prescott is my comp. My ceiling is Matthew Stafford. And that's all. That's all I have. I don't know what a floor would be for a guy like that. He's very kind of like
Teddy Bridgewater.
Maybe. Oh, that's a PFF stat. Come on.
I said it.
But like,
I was wondering if you saw the graphic. Yeah.
Of course. Oh, no, I've been through that whole draft thing like 3 different times, and I don't use a lot of their shit. Now, the one thing, this is off topic, the Caleb Johnson to Todd Gurley comp is perfect. Like that is good. That is good. I don't know.
In general,
Shador Sanders to me is Dak Prescott. You kind of saw it in college where it's like he doesn't. I'm cool with this. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Honestly, I'm not sure if this is serious or if this person watches Steelers Sanctuary as well.
That's kind of what I'm wondering right now too. So, like, Colin, just to kind of fill you in. So, if you didn't see that, somehow when we read through comps, basically every quarterback in the draft is Bo Nix. Bo Nix pops up as a comp on every one of these quarterbacks. So,
it's just a Bo Nix type draft when it's like this guy played like 40 years in college. He's got like a low key, a high floor, but a super low ceiling, even though I was a Bo Nix super fan. By the way, I'll accept my apologies via email.
Dude, I was out on Bo Nix. I was so far out on Bo Nix. So I definitely ate some crow on that one.
Fantastic player. Yeah, Stafford, just because I don't think he has the arm talent of Stafford, but I think his pocket presence is similar too, and his overall accuracy across the board. He can make any throw in the book. Now, any throw in the book under 20 yards, I think Stafford's got a stronger and more talented arm, but I just think overall, just even in terms like low-key, even the physique aspect too, like the barely 6'2", a little on the slimmer side type thing. And then I do think Shador, kind of like Bo Nix, would need a good situation, which I don't know if Pittsburgh could provide. But I think with Shador Sanders, you're looking at Dak Prescott. I do. I would be absolutely thrilled. I don't think he would fall to us by any means. I have him going to Cleveland once, not LA anymore, Vegas once, and where are you, kid? The Giants once. So I'm in the top 10, all three of my mocks, but I would be super on board with it. Your turn.
Go ahead, Smitty.
So I don't think that he falls to the Steelers, even if he gets past the Saints. Like everybody's like, if the Saints will take him at 9, he's going to fall to 21. That would be assuming. That would be like assuming that no other team can trade into those spots. Like it's not like nobody can trade from picks 10 to 20. Like somebody can absolutely trade in front of the Steelers to take Shador Sanders, which is how I think that it would play out should he get past the Saints at 9. I actually think the Saints are more in on Jackson Dart than they are Shador Sanders if they even take a quarterback. I don't know why they would press the issue at quarterback with a first-year head coach. Like they should have more of a timeline here, a longer leash. They don't need to address that position this year. Just let Spencer Rattler spin it the first season if you're not going to have Derek Carr and flame out in 2025. As far as like Shador the player, obviously I talked about this just earlier this week, or was that late last week? I don't even know. Everything runs together, and I've done like 12 podcasts this week already, but talked about Shador Sanders, and Colin mentioned the accuracy to all levels. People make it seem like he's like this check down merchant. He had more passes of 20 yards last year than Cam Ward did, who's going number 1 overall, and nobody talks about him as a check down merchant. I like Cam Ward. That's not to bring him down at all. It's really to prop Shador up. The one thing that I think is a concern from me is, did he develop bad habits within the pocket because of the offensive line? People talk about him, running into sacks and stuff like that. And while his offensive line was atrocious, and I give him credit for making do and being able to make plays in spite of that, I just wonder at the next level if those are habits that are going to be able to be broken. Not only skepticism about that happening in Pittsburgh, but really anywhere. Like, is he going to go to a situation where they're able to fix those tendencies where he like speeds plays up in his head? Because that to me would be step 1 for him.
Yeah. Can I throw out a wild comp for him?
Sure.
Drew Brees.
That's from a size profile. That's
size doesn't have the elite arm talent. Drew didn't have elite arm talent, but ultra accurate, very good at diagnosing. I'm not a big fan of Shador Sanders personally. Like, I still think he's number 2 in the class. Don't get me wrong, but like, I think also take him out of this class and put him in last year's class, and he's probably a 2nd round pick. Like,
I do think his lower body mechanics need fixed up.
Yeah.
I know it was just 1 season. But like the one thing that I will say and give the Steelers credit for in terms of this is they definitely took a step forward with Justin Fields' footwork last year.
They did. No, they did. They did.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe from that standpoint, maybe that would be something that they could do for him. But
I'll throw it out there and even say Pickett. Like, Pickett's footwork did actually get better. His arm just got worse. Any takers? Like I mean,
Yeah.
I never minded Pickett's footwork anyway. And like when I would watch the All-22, that was the least of my worries. It's like, where the hell is he looking most of the time? Right? Like that was normally my question, is like, where is he looking? Or like, bro, aren't you in the NFL? Make that damn throw, like zip it there, right? Like get it there. Anyway, that's just kind of that was always my things with Pickett. But I also think I don't know. I don't know if how much do we put into oh nice, Kansas got a nice transfer. How much do we put into lower body mechanics though? Like let's think of all the good quarterbacks in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes' mechanics low-key suck.
I think you have to have the elite arm talent in order to have bad mechanics.
Correct.
I mean, if you have elite arm talent, Shedeur doesn't have that.
Talented arm. He has a talented arm, just not a strong arm. Within
he can make the throws.
Correct.
Yeah. He can make those throws.
He's great. I don't need him making Russell Wilson moonballs. You know, I get it. It's like, well, we have Pickens and Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Let Pickens go up and get it. Let Metcalf go up and get it. I mean, frankly,
imagine the placement on those back shoulder fades.
Well, right. And then also let's talk about the fact that let's put the Steelers shades away and understand that low key Metcalf plays like he's closer to Stephon Diggs than he is Drake London in terms of play style. Am I right or am I wrong? He doesn't play
I think because of like the size that he has, people just assume he's like this great, like go up and get it.
Right.
75, 25 jump ball guy. No.
He's not that, which is okay. Yeah. If I can get a 10-yard dig to go 80 yards for my 6'4", 230 receiver, I'm thrilled, right? But let's be honest, like that's really what we're seeing. DK Metcalf is closer to a Stephon Diggs than he would be to a Drake London. He's closer to a Jamar Chase than he would be a T. Higgins. There's a million examples you could throw out there. He's closer than a Jaden Reed than he is a Christian Watson, and that's okay. Like we have a jump ball guy, and the other guy's 6'4", 230. Who, I mean, I don't think people just are nitpicking every which way that. So can I? Big 12. Okay, bro. Big 12. Didn't the Big 12 make the college semifinal with Arizona State? Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, should have beat Texas.
Right. So they should have probably been further. So
yeah,
whatever.
So let's. I like this question. So like, Smitty, I'm gonna start with you on this one. What do you think? We're doing all this work to get all these comp picks. Mm-hmm. What do you think they're going to do with all the comp picks next year if they take Sanders in this draft?
I don't think that there would be like a clear idea right now. Either you are stockpiling it to be able to move up, say there is like one certain position not at quarterback, obviously if you take Shedeur Sanders this year, or you got more ammo, like just more picks in general to check boxes with. Like again, that's where like the pivot, which I was talking about earlier, comes into play, where it was like, okay, maybe they weren't planning on that guy being in 25 and they were planning on taking that shot in 26, but then Shedeur Sanders falls into their lap at 21 and they, change course. And I think that that's certainly possible. But yeah, it would be a pivot from literally how they've operated up to this point, whether it's in free agency, very calculated in terms of only really going after guys that didn't affect the comp formula to be able to stockpile those draft picks. And I'll be honest, like I think that they're still going to do some stuff in that second wave of free agency after May 1st, when, the comp formula is not going to be part of the equation anymore. So yeah, I don't think that there's like a clear plan right now where it's like, if we get Shedeur, then this is what we're doing with the comp picks next year, though.
Colin, what do you think?
See, my thing is with the comp picks next year, it's like realistically, how many 5th and 6th rounders are you going to use to move up in the first round?
You don't think Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are going to have career years to net them extra thirds?
No, I think like I don't even say what I think Fields is going to do in New York. I think they're in for a rude awakening with that contract. And I don't think me and Trent even got the chance to talk about that. Maybe we did on a podcast, but
not really. No, not since he signed.
Even if you like Justin Fields and like felt like there was a shot of him being a starting quarterback somewhere, that was not the fit for him. I mean, Tanner Engstrand, who's coming in as their OC, going to run a very similar offense to Ben Johnson, where it's all like timing routes and playing in rhythm and stuff like that. Does that sound like Justin Fields?
No.
Like what? Yeah, no. So I'm very curious as to how that marriage is going to go. I don't think it's going to go well either, and that's not me being like a hater because he didn't re-sign with Pittsburgh. Just legit how I feel.
I probably shouldn't have re-signed with Pittsburgh.
I mean, if
He
you're not,
wasn't a fit in Arthur Smith offense either.
yeah, if you're not going to take a receiver in the first round because you take Shadur Sanders, you may not find a starter in the third round. So, like, I could easily see using these comp picks to trade up for a receiver in 2026. I mean,
what's that?
Going to get another
Honestly,
guy. There's not a ton of great guys that are coming. So, like, you may have to trade up if you want to get a stud.
So
it's Caleb Downs. With not receiver, but just popped into my mind.
No, that was the other thing I was going to say. I could see them doing that because he could play either safety spot. He could play next to Minka. He could play, the Deshaun Elliott role first, or he could play Minka's role if you wanted to trade Minka next year. Like,
okay, Colin. Trent. Okay, Trent. We're so trading. We're trading 39. But so I guess
maybe it's a Brian Branch type thing where he starts out playing in the nickel.
He'd be such a demon, bro. Caleb Downs would be such a demon. Yeah, I'm all for that. Me and my buddy that I went to high school with were talking about Caleb Downs. Like, do whatever you can do next year to get him. But no, the one thing is with the whole, Trent mentioned it very briefly. Like, if we take Shadur Sanders at 21 and we take a receiver in the third round, the only receiver that we have on a visit that would make it to the third round?
Colin Phillips.
Cordarrelle or Savion or Cordarrelle.
Savion Williams.
Yeah, same guy. Whatever. That guy. Or Cordarrelle, Savion, something. Because really, I mean, Matthew Golden's going to go in the first. Noel's going to go. Both Iowa State kids are going to go in the second. Now, as Zachary mentioned, obviously a lot of these could be smoke screens, so that makes me feel a little bit better on the lack of offensive linemen and what was I pissed about? Corners. But
where would you put him in this group?
As prospects or as college players? Because that's a whole different conversation.
Well, I would assume he's asking this about Sanders fitting into the group if we're talking about next year's draft class.
Oh, so it's prospects?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sanders at 1. I mean, Sanders or Aller at 1. I don't see Arch Manning, so Sanders at 1, right?
Yeah, he actually said, I didn't put it up there, but he did say he's leaving Arch out of it.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably go Aller at 1 just because Aller's got like that Big Ben play style with the Josh Allen build. I'd go Aller, Sanders, Sam Levitt, Nico Yamayeva, Sellers Altmaier. I don't know. I don't know enough about Sellers. I think Sellers had like a 16.
I like Sellers a lot.
Didn't he have like a 16-9 TD to INT ratio?
So that was, I think, 17-7.
Oh, so Anthony Richardson. Coop. Steve Altmaier. It's Luke Altmaier, right? Luke Altmaier?
I'm not real familiar with him, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know either.
Nussmeier, by the way. That's a quarterback coach.
I don't like Nussmeier, man. He had a brutal year.
I'm noticing a lack of Cade Klubnik here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your guy.
Oh, Cade would be my demon. Oh, Zach? Are you a Caleb?
That's my guy that I like for right now. He's my guy that's like going to take a big leap next year, and like the guy I'm circling is who I would want.
It'd be a demon, dude. He's got the handsome face, he's got the size, he's got the build, he's probably got the girlfriend. He's a franchise quarterback. What are we doing?
I love your evaluation. This is the hard hitting evaluation we're here for.
I test, bro.
His aura bar is all the way up on Madden.
Oh, he's got aura. Well, and that's the thing with Shadur. Shadur's aura points alone. I mean, bro, you give me one of these on after a touchdown to DK Metcalf, bro. Like, imagine him and DK. Imagine him and DK in the end zone like this, bro.
What about anybody think Nico's making a massive mistake right now?
I don't know enough to speculate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You're leaving.
Yeah.
He's going to leave a ton of money on the table, number one. You're going to leave a team that's going to be loaded with talent for probably some hot garbage because nobody's going to want him. Apparently, he's entered the portal with this, like, no contact, do not contact clause on him. So like that
Yeah, he's going to
likely means
UCLA.
he knows where he's going to. Yeah, but here, it actually, as soon as you were saying that, I mean, what do you have at UCLA to play with? I think he's going to regret the hell out of this decision because he's going to get beat up on.
I agree with that. I think if he does go to like one of the Western schools in the Big Ten, he would get beat up on. But I think it is just maybe like a Big Ten thing. Didn't have the stones to play in the SEC. Maybe I don't know. But
yeah, he said something about not liking Tennessee's offense.
Here's my and that I was just going to get to that here. Like, let's think realistically right now, guys. I mean, how many realistically good Tennessee receivers have there been that came out in the recent years? By the way, I was a big
about
fan
to have two drafted in this one, right?
Well, Jalen Hyatt sucks, which by the way I called that year. Horrible player.
Cardio merchant.
Cedric Tillman's not very good either. So those were the two guys from 2 years ago.
I love Cedric Tillman.
As a blocker, I'm sure he'd be good.
No, I'm saying like I loved him coming into.
Oh yeah, he was Ben Skoranek. That's fine. Who is it this year? Isn't it like
they got that Dante Thornton is like their big one.
RAS.
Is it just one? Is it just one of them coming out this year?
One, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking. I was like, which one of their guys like that RAS merchant? There's one guy like a 9.88 RAS or something that like ran like a 4.3 with a 6.5 frame. I think I saw. Remember if I'm correct.
Thornton,
yes.
Yeah.
6.5.
So,
yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah. So like Jalen Hyatt with a better build, like Jalen Hyatt with more muscle. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know enough to speculate on the. How do you pronounce his last name? Yamanayeva?
I screw his name up every time.
Every time that I say it, and so one of them has to be right.
Cool.
At some point you hit it.
I'm gonna go with Yamanayeva or Ayamayeva, one of those two. But
is it like I am a lava or something? I don't know. I there's no way I could say his name. It's just not happening.
I think like I was like trying to find it on YouTube like a broadcast to hear it, and it's like Iamayaleva, I think is how.
Oh my God, Brew McCoy and elite receiver conversations.
Yeah, this checks for Steelers Sanctuary, by the way.
Yeah, he's been talking about him for a while. All right, there you go. Second was closer. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I think the Shedeur Sanders stuff's interesting because he's like the most intriguing player in this entire draft to me. Just because he could go anywhere. He can go inside the top 10. He can go inside the top 5. He could go outside the first round. Who the hell knows? But
I think is also like really intriguing from that perspective too is Colston Loveland. I think he's a top 10 player, but is he going to get taken that high along with Tyler Warren, or no because of the injury and quarterback play holding him down?
Yep. He's such a complete player, and people forget about him because of the injury.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate Michigan, but
I do too. But he is a very good player. He's a damn good player.
The same way that I had like Kansas basketball and
and Notre Dame football.
Come on, we're fair weather there. Yeah. Sure, man. So I guess I have one. It's so hard now that Zachary kind of talked about smoke screens, but here's just a crazy hypothetical here. So, I mean, say we're at. Let's see. Okay, say we go. I mean, here's like worst case scenario in my head. Like, say we go Sanders at 21, like receiver at 83, and then like Jarquez Hunter at 121. That's our first round, third round, and fourth round pick. What the hell do we do about defensive tackle?
Yeah, that's why it's kind of hard for me to see that happening. But with
bottom of the barrel guys.
Yeah, I mean, they brought in a lot of guys that were day. Yeah, they brought in a lot of guys that are day 3 defensive tackles. So
but
I was thinking all along,
is Yaya Black going to start at nose tackle for us, dude? Like,
I mean, that's literally all he is a zero tech.
So. That's fine. So can Kenneth Grant. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a demon here. We're talking about at worst, like
the kid from Florida. Do they go after the big monster kid from Florida?
How about the dude's like 500 pounds?
Yes, dude.
Yeah. They're just going to Casey Hampton this thing all over again.
Worst case scenario, Kenneth Grant is at worst, Dalvin Tomlinson. I'm being so serious. Like, at worst, Dalvin Tomlinson. I don't see a reason, like, and okay, it could have been
I think he's better than Mason Graham, I'll be honest.
Wow. That's
I don't think he's shown it yet. I think the tools are there.
It's funny,
but
that's part of the conversation I gotta bring up when we get off here.
Yeah, I honestly think he's going to be a better player than Mason Graham, because I think Mason Graham, we found what did he weigh in at the combine?
Well, he's also got baby
light?
arms. That's my fear with Mason Graham, is he's got baby arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he weighed in at. I just know he came in lighter than
came
expected.
290 or 293 or something. Like, he was way under 3.
Jacksonville runs a 4.3. 290 is totally fine for a 4.3 defensive tackle. That's a little light still.
Yeah, I think you're starting to push where you're kind of a tweener at that point. If you should be an edge, or you know what I mean. Like, I think he's still light at D tackle, even in a 4.3. He's got a great motor. I just think Kenneth Grant has better tools. I think that guy's freaking more explosive than people give him credit for.
Kenneth Grant's a little on the raw side too, but that's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The one position, if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers decider, if I can decide the decisions and I say I need 2 positions that are super raw, defensive tackle's number 1, because I trust Carl Dunbar with about my life. I think he's made the most out of a lot of bad situations on this defensive line over the years. How he got Javon Hargrave to a 0 tech is beyond me. I think that was God's work. The ability to put a guy like Stephon Tuitt, who should realistically be a 4.3 edge, as a 3.43 tech is also amazingness. So I would say, Kenneth Grant is a little on the raw side. So is Walter Nolan, but my concerns with Walter Nolan are more along the lines of the fact that he's got a worse motor than me. And then my only concern again with Derek Harmon is, this will be my last statement, but my concern with Derek Harmon is you're looking at Keanu Benton all over again. Big Ten schools, 6'5" and change, 312-ish, great pass rusher, not a great run defender, a little undisciplined with his hands, weird footwork. I don't know, high motor. I think you're just looking at another Benton. I want a guy who can play the nose, and I think it's a good year to need a nose tackle, but the greatest fear of mine would be like we have to wait till the 7th round to get a nose tackle, and it's like, okay, do we really want a 7th rounder playing 40% of snaps? No. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Smitty, you got anything else for us today?
Nope. Not that I can share on air.
Okay. Well, Colin, we'll leave that as it is, I guess. Colin, you already said that was your last take for the day, so you're right back in rare form today, buddy. I'm so proud of you. I love it. I love every second of it. Fired up, ready to freaking go.
I took a hiatus, but I needed to get back. It was time for me to voice my opinions. I needed to spread the knowledge, if you will. It had been a while. It's been a long spring, so glad I can be back, and hopefully we'll be talking after the draft, because I'm either going to be really, really fired up or really, really happy. So
love it.
Depending on whether or not Zachary is smoke screening me, we'll have to decide how pissed or how happy I'll be.
That was a special performance from Colin today.
It was. I love it. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you both jumping in here with me today.
I was a top 30 visit to the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I better put on a good show.
You were, and Smitty was the reason you came back today. So, I love it. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping in here, watching. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got another coming in. Here we go. We're gonna get Colin all fired up again. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're gonna have to save some of these comments for next time. We're gonna get Colin right back into rare form.
Is that SMU defensive tackle, dude? Come on.
Yeah. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
I'll see you guys.